I want to bring these concepts home by showing you an average. So if you have 150 students, and some of you will have many more than that, I know. But in a typical day, then, that translates based on the current statistics that we have, that throughout the day, you will have 16 students diagnosed with ADHD. That's a lot, right? And those are the ones who are diagnosed. You will also have those who are undiagnosed. And sometimes by Murphy's Law, they all end up in the same class. I'm just going to tell you. Um, it's a challenge. Then you'll have, on average, 2 students throughout the day who are diagnosed on the autism spectrum, and 11 students who are diagnosed with emotional and behavioral disorders. So think about that. That's a lot. And as I've said, the percentage of students diagnosed with all three of these disorders is on the rise. So this is going to keep going up and up and up. And just as an example, when I started teaching 30 years ago, I might have had, in a typical day of 150 students, I might have had 1 student in each of these categories. So in 30 years, we've seen a huge, huge increase. And this is why it's so important that we get to know our students, that we read as much as we can about the neurodiverse challenge that they're facing, and that we also talk to them and talk to their parents on what can I do to support you, right? What works for you, what doesn't work for you. And as secondary teachers, we have the advantage of kids being able to express themselves. Imagine it's hard for a 5-year-old to say, well, this is what I need, right? This is how I learn best. But oftentimes our students are able to do that. So we need to ask those questions. And not to pry, but what can I do to support you, right? How do you work best in a classroom? What are the things that don't work for you? Ask those questions that show I have a vested interest in you. I want you to do well in my classroom. And I want to leave you with just one final thought. So this whole presentation has been about the common attributes of the 3 different neurodiversities we've talked about. But there's always a danger when we look at the average or the common attributes, because we have to remember that each child with whom we work is going to be unique. So we need to have an overall understanding of these disorders, but then we need to take it that step beyond to see each student as an individual and to figure out how can we best support and teach each individual student.